Let's talk about how there's a ton of Pixar and Walt Disney animation news happening this morning, so let's run through what we got so far. So what you're seeing here is a current slate of Pixar movies. Obviously, we have Hopper, where it's basically an Avatar story where a girl puts her mind into a beaver and goes out into the wilderness. Toy Story 5, which we'll get into a lot more later. A new Pixar film called Gato, which I'm guessing it has a lot to do with a cat. And rounding it out with some Pixar sequels, Incredibles 3 and Coco 2. I'm just gonna say that releasing Hoppers in Toy Story 5, given Disney's track record, is not a good move. Usually when this happens, it's almost like Disney's trying to sacrifice one for the other. It's a trend that I hope is not wrong, but given the success of the Toy Story franchise and the fact that Hopper is led by a person of color, I really hope I'm not wrong. Gato was a movie that was announced at Annecy a couple months ago, and it's about a cat living in Venice who's indebted to a feline mob boss. Apparently, he links up with a female street artist to find his purpose in life, which is already kind of sounding like Ratatouille set in Italy. Obviously, there are tons of differences, but still, Rat in France, Cat in Italy, both are coming from mob boss family or ties. And we knew Incredibles 3 and Coco 2 was happening, but I think it's curious how Incredibles 3 is at 2028 and then Coco 2 is slated for and beyond, meaning they probably don't have a date yet. I posted my thoughts on what a potential story for Coco 2 could be, so I'm gonna find the video and post it down here. Now, as for Toy Story 5, we got some big reveals for this movie. Conan O'Brien was announced as a potty training toy named Smarty Pants, and is it weird to say that this kind of does look like him with like the handle being the hair or whatnot? We have a new character announced named Lilypad, which, as you guessed it, is an iPad. And then we have a Buzz Lightyear army who are stuck in play mode because you can't have a Toy Story movie without Buzz or a version of Buzz just wilding out. As someone who grew up on the Toy Story trilogy and still thinks 4 is worthy of the third, that was an epilogue, and you can't have an epilogue of an epilogue, so you're kind of pushing it with this one, but I'm gonna give it a chance. Walt Disney Animation announced their next animated movie after Moana 2, and it's called Hexed. The plot says that this movie is about a mother and her weird son, where it turns out his weirdness is actually magic and they get transported to a magical world where he could just be himself. Sounds like a metaphor for neurodivergence, we'll see. Let's just hope they handle it better than 2018's The Predator. If you know, you know. We got some updates on Disney's first ever Ice Age movie, Ice Age Boiling Point. It makes you wonder how many movies about global warming can you make in the same franchise? Oh my god, Scrat has a baby! I vote his name be Scrit. And then finally, we got some new news from Zootopia, where Patrick Warburton's going to be voicing a mayor called Wind Dancer. Which makes sense because the previous mayor was Lion. If you like talking about movies, can I be your movie guy? Yeah, it's all coming together.